What's wrong with you people?
Welcome to Not Another Baptist Podcast. Matt Hensley here, coming to you live from Plymouth Park Baptist Church in Irving, Texas, joined by Kyle, non-alcoholic beerman, coming to us bald from Lubbock. Kyle, how are you doing today?
Hey man, I'm good. I am fresh home from Montana.
Oh, let's go. Why are you home from Montana?
We had a rural event that was put on by the Montana Southern Baptist Convention there, the state convention.
What's nice about Montana is the whole thing is rural.
Yes, that's correct. And gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. So happy to have been there this week.
Yeah. Well, Kyle, glad you're back. Not that you're here. And so it's good to be back on the pod today. And we're talking about health.
Yeah.
As you drink your, socially acceptable drug.
Fourth cup of coffee this morning.
Yeah. So there was a recent study that was brought out about, shocker, pastors that are healthy is good for churches. So we're not talking necessarily about our diet and so forth today. But that is part of a factor of our physical health and so forth. And so we are going to talk about kind of the general healthy factors for pastors, at least in their self-assessment. And we most probably I self-assess myself at like 6'4" in perfect health. But I'm probably not. So this is again self-rated. Pastors, 29% are great with their health, their physical health, right? 41% say they're good. 21% say they're fair. 10% say they're poor. I'm going to try not to be snarky. Talk about the last time I was at a gathering for pastors and weight and so forth. There's not only weight and whatnot, but 29%, 41% together, you can do the math. Say they are great or good. And then, 31% say fair or poor. So now, there are other areas of health too, financial and so forth, that we'll dig into. But Kyle, I want to talk really first about your physical health. What has worked for you? I know you've done, what was the P90X or something that was a big thing? You did something like it. It was different. What was it?
Through the years, on and off, I've done Insanity. I never did P90X. I did Insanity, which is aptly named. Now I have a gym membership with my son, and so we go in a perfect week 5 times, most of the time 3 or 4 times a week to the gym. But then I just came out of tennis season 2, so trying to stay just active with some stuff like that. We've really gotten into, my daughter and I have especially really gotten into tennis. Yeah. Love going and playing.
Not me on any of those. I run and walk. That is it for me. The only healthy choices I make. I do that so that I can't eat like garbage and all of that. But anyway, no, I get up in the morning and I walk and run. And then usually the afternoon, we take an afternoon walk with the doggos before or after dinner. That's kind of mine. I know there's, guys like Michael Kreiner. Congrats on becoming the pastor of First Baptist Church Rockwall.
Yeah, that's exciting.
And glad there will be some godly preaching and gospel influence there in that wonderful city. And so really proud of him. But he's also one that loves to run and does some
not just run. Like he does,
yeah,
he does like ultra.
He kind of got the Matt Hensley bug. He's not going to like that,
man.
But he got them. I don't think he runs every day like I do, but he does the ultra runs like I did, and has done a few 100-milers and all of that kind of stuff. Here's the deal,
man. Yeah, listen, if you ever see me running, you should run too, because there's something that has happened.
Yeah. The upside is I'd beat you, but the thing to remember though is like it's the requirement to become healthy is not to be able to run 100-milers. It's not to be able to deadlift, 300 pounds. It's none of those things. It's ultimately making regular, steady, healthy choices to move, right? We do have a rather sedentary job. right? You don't always have to do the job in a sedentary way, but we sit typically to write a sermon. We sit to do our emails. We sit to make phone calls. We sit to have coffee with a member. We sit to have a lunch with a staff member. Like there's a lot of sitting that comes with our job. And like the only time it seems like that our job forces us to stand is unless you're Jonathan Edwards when you preach. And so, like, part of it is making a conscious effort to move and to just get moving every day. And that's why, like, walking is that easy, like anybody can do. Get up 15-20 minutes earlier and go out and walk to the end of your street and back. Grab a cup of coffee and do it as drink your coffee as you're walking. And that's been an encouragement for me. So when I do it, I walk as far as my coffee will take me, and then I typically set it down on a mailbox or somewhere where I can find it, and then I go out for a run, half a mile away from there, half a mile back to it, grab that coffee cup, and make my way home. That's my normal day. And so it's just making some simple choices just to be active and to move. Now, it's also easier to do that if you have a goal in mind that, hey, I want to learn to do a 5K, or I want to be able to bench this or do this number of sit-ups. Like, set a goal, work at it. But hey, take some time to work on your physical health. The other extreme comes to financial health. That's a
Yeah.
little different for pastors, because obviously we went into this job to become affluent and rich in multi-million-dollar homes and all of that kind of stuff. But we have found very quickly that that was not the case. 3 in 10, 31% say they are financially great. 34% say they're good. 24 fair. 12% poor. Interesting to me that both of those are kind of in line with the other. But
Yeah.
that also comes into a factor for how pastors rate themselves as healthy overall. Kyle, what is your pro tip for becoming financially healthy? I'll tell you what mine is. I bet you can guess.
Yeah. Um, so
Buy a
it's not.
Corvette.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, yeah. M- my single tip, if I could just say one thing, it would be this: budget. Create a budget. Um, Now, depending on your financial situation, that'll determine how much of a budget Nazi you have to be. But you've got to have a plan, right? You've got to have some sort of a roadmap for where your money's going to go. Um, and listen, if you are not in a financially healthy position, there are some great resources out there. Our friend Art Rayner has some phenomenal resources. It's not rocket science. You can do this. Um, but but as we saw, and Matt, as you just pointed out, there is a correlation between physical health and financial health here, um, and being an overall healthy person. Right now, many pastors in this survey volunteered that they have some financial struggles, and one of the primary things they said is my salary is not keeping up with inflation, and I've had to pick up work outside my position, outside the church, to supplement income. Let me tell you, I don't think that's going to change. In fact, I think we're going to see more and more churches and pastors moving to a bivocational model. Okay, so if you have to do that, that's not a failure on your part. That's just a reality, I think, of where the world is going. But man, listen, you being financially healthy is a blessing to your family, and it's something you can model for your church members. Whom, guess what? A lot of them are probably financially unhealthy
Yeah.
as well, right? We are not financial coaches. Let me be very clear on that. But somebody like Art Rayner, check out More Than Money. I know he has a podcast. I think that's his website as well. Man, check that out. Get some resources, get some help if you need that, because that is an important part of your life that will spill over into other areas of spiritual, mental, physical health as well.
Yeah. Uh, I don't know the best way to say this other than it sometimes helps to have that champion that's in your corner that kind of you can open up maybe if this is a difficulty that you're facing. Like I know in the article itself, it talks about, this one pastor, I guess, that wrote said, the church has given small 2 to 4% cost of living increases every year, all that kind of stuff, but it hasn't kept up with inflation for the past 5 to year. You've gotten a pay decrease over the past 5 to 6 years, of course. Said if he went to the church to ask for a raise, they would probably give it to him, but it would likely come at the cost of a ministry or worse, another staff member's position. You don't want to do that. But you also could maybe talk to a church member that perhaps is on that financial committee, on that stewardship committee or personnel committee, and say, hey, I am worried about my financial health and the health of so and so, the other staff member, whatever that you're at. I want that to be on your radar and let you know this is where I'm at, this is what I'm doing to address it, this is what my staff members doing to address it, that kind of thing. But I just want you to know that this is something that we're dealing with. So when those conversations do come, and you can share with that person, like, hey, this is very hard on me, but I don't want this to cost our ministry to the lost, or whatever, quilting ministry, axe it, whatever. I don't, you can open up with that guy, be vulnerable, and share with him, like, this is my heart here. I want you to know I don't want to lose a ministry. I certainly don't want to lose Jim Bob's job or whatever, but this is a problem, and I just want you to be aware, because they may not know. And it's sometimes uncomfortable for you to be the guy to come in and say, hey, I need a raise. And there's guys that can pull that off and do that with grace and all of that, but not everybody can. And you might have the wrong people on that group that just think you're greedy and whatever it might be. And that's not the case. You're just trying to feed your family. Yeah. So, Pastor, we hear that, like, sometimes it's just helpful to have somebody in your corner that you can share that with, and they, who know the people and may know them better than you, can find the right way, the right time to maybe address one of those things. Because it is a problem. The other things that I would say, and this is tough because we already have a job that sometimes bleeds well beyond 8 to 5. We know that, but a day off, subbing at the school, driving the bus in the morning bus route. Maybe I know some guys that are doing Uber and doing okay with, not making a killing doing Uber, but, doing some Uber Eats or whatever it's called, Grubhub, whatever it is, and doing some, Ubering on their day off. There's all kinds of opportunities that are out there. And maybe that would be a good episode one day to have maybe Art on to talk about just options for side hustles or whatever. That's kind of the common term for it. But look, be creative. Live within your means, and I know I'm saying things that I need to do.
And by the way, I was wrong on that. So Art stuff is artrainer.com. You can find all his stuff.
So Kyle, why does this matter? Why should we care about our physical and financial health?
Well, yeah. So there are a couple of things here. If you are healthier, you're going to feel better. Okay, that's probably the obvious one, right? And again, that goes for physical health, but it also applies to financial health, spiritual health, mental health, right? If you are unhealthy in any of those areas, it's going to affect all the others. If you're healthy in those areas, they will complement each other, right? A healthy pastor or an unhealthy pastor cannot lead a healthy church. Okay. And so your people who are probably, as I said earlier, a lot of them are probably unhealthy in their lives in a variety of areas. They need a healthy leader, not a perfect leader. They need a healthy leader. And unhealthy leaders lead unhealthy organizations, and you cannot lead your people beyond where you are personally, right? And so, listen, here's the number. They throw this out in the article. 54% of clergy have seriously considered quitting their church and ministry, all right? Or excuse me, 54% who have said they seriously considered quitting their church and ministry fall into the poor or fair health ranges, okay? So, in other words, if you're unhealthy, physically, financially, those are the two areas we talked about, you're more likely to not stay long term, right? You're more likely to not be there long term, compared to only 22% who've said that they haven't considered quitting their church or ministry, right?
So in other words, church member, if you're listening to this and your pastor is overweight, tell him to get on a diet.
What was the
Don't do that.
the worst things that pastors have been told? Like
Yeah.
it would be, I can't listen to your preaching because you're so fat. Yeah, no, don't do that, right? But listen, churches, this means that churches need to value the personal health of their ministers, of their staff, and make allowances for that, right? Maybe your church can't provide a gym membership, right? But you can allow certain days off, times of rest, and sabbatical, which will help move your pastor to a healthier place. And then, as we've already talked about, if your church cannot pay a livable wage as a full-time salary, allow your pastor to get some sort of outside employment, a side hustle, something to help feed his family, to help create some financial health in his life.
Offer a bonus if he can do a 5K in under 20 minutes.
Under 20 minutes? I mean, that's like world-class elite running there, right? Like
It's not.
No?
Okay. It is fast, but we're
and
still
that's
only talking about a 7-minute mile. So,
oh yeah, only. Okay.
well, sorry. Okay. 30 minutes.
Okay. That sounds like a plan. 30 minutes. That sounds doable for a normal middle-aged individual, right?
Here's an idea. Provide their health insurance.
Ooh, there you go.
Yeah. Anyway, we we could really get in trouble with this episode. So maybe
Man,
we could wrap it up.
so many places
Hey.
to go.
Pastor, here's what I would say to you. You got one body. At least on this side of glory. You do get a brand new one, and it's really nice in the future, but you got one. And the YOLO thing, it's like you do really have one shot at it. And I was about 300 pounds and started to finally take my life and my health much more seriously and really kind of had a second chance. And I really encourage you, if you feel like you're a little overweight, a little out of shape, it is worth it. It gives you more energy for your kids. I sleep better. I feel better. Depression, some of those kinds of things are better when I am out and about and getting out in nature and so forth. It is worth it. And so it takes time, it takes work, it takes sweat, but it is worth it. Church member, it's all your health matters too, but also your pastor's health. Make sure that he's taking time to be with his family. Make sure he's taking time off. Make sure he's, check on him. Like, ask him how he's doing, and don't take just "I'm fine" as an answer. Like, be somebody that actually cares about your pastor, is willing to have those conversations with him. And then also see if you can give him a raise. Make sure he's doing okay. Or like Kyle said, make it an option where he can be able to provide for his family, maybe with some side income, if that's possible. So We love you guys. Hope you have a great day. Of course, we'll be putting this in the show note. Also, a link to Art Rayner's info if you want to dig into that. And Art, if you're listening to this, we're sorry for the comment I made about the Corvette, but we would love for you to come on the show and maybe talk about side hustles and side gigs for pastors to maybe offset some of the cost of living struggles that some are having. So until next time, have a great day, and may your coffee be as black as night and as bold as the gospel we declare.
What's wrong with you people?